welcome to Sri Chaitanya. This is Umasankar, All India IIT coordinator. Yeah, successfully we have completed JEE Main February-March sessions, and now again 2 more sessions are there for JEE Mains examination, which are going to be held on April and May. And above all, another important and the most powerful examination, and major students are awaiting for this examination, which is nothing but JEE Advanced 2021. If I'm right, the examination will be, they will going to conduct on July 3rd, if I'm right, isn't it? Yeah. So now with us, our Sri Chaitanya's eminent senior most faculty, Mr. Janardhan is there, and he was graduated from IIT Madras. He has completed his BTech from IIT Madras, Electrical Engineering Department, and he's been associated with the Sri Chaitanya for past 15 years, and he has been produced so many All India ranks, below 10 especially. Every year from his campus, he's been producing All India ranks, especially from JEE Advanced as well as JEE Mains. And he has very good experience in physics. Physics is his subject. So now, today I requested him to give the motivation and the preparation strategies to strengthen your physics subject in the coming 2 phases of mains, as well as especially for JEE Advanced. Because majority of the students in their mind, they are in a dilemma that physics is the nightmare subject for majority of them. So my friend, Mr. Janardhan, he will clarify all your doubts with our personal interaction and all. He will guide you properly. My friends, hope in your hand, if I am right, apart from, forget about the board examinations and other 2 mains examination, hardly exactly 30 days of prominent time is there. Perfect time is there. Even with 30 days of time also, we can do wonders with physics. Because that's why I requested Mr. Janardhan. He will guide you, and with his able guidance, and use his tips, and what are the things that he is going to present for you, for your betterment only. He is giving, and his experience, sharing his experience, because he has produced so many All India ranks. So on behalf of Sri Chaitanya, now I request Mr. Janardhan. Hello, sir. Hello, Janardhan, sir. How are you? Are you
Hello,
here?
sir. Hello,
Yeah.
how are you? Good evening. Yeah.
Sir,
Good
Janardhan,
evening,
sir.
sir.
Actually,
Good evening.
this is
Yeah.
Now, I think you have understood what is the purpose of this conduct. We are conducting this kind of Zoom meeting with you, this interactive session. I think majority of the students, they feel physics as the difficult subject. Really, is it so?
No, actually in JEE Advanced and JEE Mains especially, when you look at the past 10 years papers, physics is, for an average student, it is generally projected by many institutes and many teachers as it is toughest, but it is actually not. Among the 3 subjects, if you carefully observe, maths has vast amount of syllabus. Students generally who are able to recognize patterns, who are able to solve abstract problems very quickly, they'll usually do very well in maths. Whereas chemistry, as we all know, more than 50 to 60% of it is based on memory, right? Yes, there is talent also required to cross the chemistry syllabus, but most of it is related to the memory based. But physics, if you carefully observe, out of the 3 subjects, the amount of syllabus is actually less. Amount of syllabus, once you understand, it's only basis of application, right? Number of formulae, number of equations, if you look at in physics, are much smaller in number as compared to chemistry and maths. In chemistry, you have so many exceptions. You study a rule, and then suddenly 2 or 3 days later, they'll say there is an exception. In physics, there is no exception. In mechanics, you have 2 or 3 equations like F equal to ma, tau is equal to I alpha, work energy theorem. There are only 3 or 4 really simple equations, but wherein student finds it difficult is to actually apply those equations when they are reading a question. That is where if students are able to plan their preparation, as you said, they have only 30 days. If first of all they don't fear physics, but plan according to what is being required of them in the exam, they'll start doing well.
I have a doubt, Jonathan sir. Actually, is there any difference between in preparation for JEE Main Physics and JEE Advanced Physics? Is there any difference? Because the students are there, they're in dilemma actually. Okay, JEE Advanced different, JEE Advanced Physics is somewhat different, and JEE Mains Physics is a formula-based physics only. If you are confined to NCERT only, that is sufficient. That kind of things are there in the minds of the students. Is it so? Is it
No, it is not. Actually, you could say like students are very familiar with the Venn diagrams in mathematics, where you use sets to
yeah.
understand, right? So if you take one circle as JEE Mains Physics and one circle as JEE Advanced,
Oh,
there is quite a lot of overlap between the two circles. Yes, there are some parts which are slightly different in Advanced, but there are some parts which are slightly different in Mains.
but
But
core concept are same.
core concepts are same. An apple, when it is thrown up, it comes down in both JEE Mains and JEE Advanced.
Right.
It
That's
it doesn't it does the Newton's laws of motion or modern physics or Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, all these things are the same at the core level. As I said, the application part, right? Once you understand the core, the application part and how well you are able to practice your application is going to decide whether you do well in JEE Mains or Advanced. And one very important thing, a lot of people think NCERT is enough for JEE Mains. Actually, even for JEE Mains, only NCERT is not enough. For JEE Advanced, NCERT is not enough. NCERT is important. It is necessary, but it is not enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why, because a majority of the students, they're asking me that, sir, if I'm confined to NCERT only, does it help me?
See, that's what, wherein this question can clearly get answered is, as I was saying right from the start, NCERT part also, the theory, the physics that it teaches is the same.
Okay.
Right? When you pick up H.C. Verma, Concepts of Physics, or Resnick and Haldane, it's the same physics. The way they introduce the physics there is the same. But the problems that are there at the back side of these textbooks cater to the application part. Now, backside problems of NCERT and you compare the level of questions that are asked in JEE Mains or Advanced, yes, there are some questions, but not all of them. So you can clearly conclude, if you're looking at the theory and how much is the syllabus, you want to understand what is the scope of the syllabus, JEE Mains, the NCERT syllabus is enough. But in order to practice and do well in your application part, you need a bit more support from the other sources.
Right. Sir, actually, you have produced so many all India ranks, and you have seen and you have interacted with so many varieties of students in standards point of view and grasping point of view in every different aspects. By keeping an average student into consideration, suppose if I am an average student, in coming 30 days of duration, how can I strengthen my physics subject to score more better marks in the coming JEE Advanced, as well as the coming 2 phases for a mains examination also? Is there any smallest and beautiful tips are there? Could you suggest?
One thing the students should feel happy about when it comes to preparing for mains and advanced. I'll give you a very simple example of the 2 other extreme exams that you have, right? Where JEE Mains and Advanced are in the middle, and there are 2 extreme examinations. I'll name them now. One is board examinations. Another one is the Physics Olympiad examination. Board examination is the easiest of the lot, right? And Physics Olympiad is the so right. When it comes to JEE Mains and JEE Advanced Physics, a lot of students fear the physics a lot. So when you have only 30 days to prepare, right, and average students have a understanding that okay, maybe 30 days is not enough. I'll just give you a wholesome example of how you should be looking at JEE Mains or JEE Advanced preparation in the last leg. I'll take example of 2 more examinations that the students face during this period. At the other extreme of the exam pattern, right? One is the board examination. Second one is the Physics Olympiad. JEE Mains and Advanced lie somewhere in between. Okay. So board examination is considered to be the easiest examination, and Physics Olympiad is supposed to be the toughest. Yeah. So the physics Olympiad requires extreme knowledge, right? So until unless you know quite a few things which are outside the scope of JEE Advanced syllabus or NCERT, and you need to have some so what we are trying to emphasize for the students here is that in comparison to JEE Mains and JEE Advanced examinations, you have other two examination in the other extreme end of the spectrum, which is the board examination and the physics Olympiad examination. So I'm just trying to give an example so that you can get the confidence, irrespective of what level of the student is. It's easier to crack JEE Mains and JEE Advanced if you have the right approach and right attitude towards your preparation. So when it comes to board examination, you see that the questions are generally asked from the backside of the textbook. There are some short answer questions, long answer questions, essay writing is expected of the student. State and prove Bernoulli's theorem they will give, and every 3 years they'll ask the same question, right? And there are some standard books where these questions are answered, and students are supposed to go through that material, and we expect the student to do well, right? And application skills are very less tested in board examination. Whereas when it comes to physics Olympiad, which is the other end of the spectrum, you need to have extra knowledge is very, very important. Just by going to the coaching centers, or just by studying coaching material, or just standard textbooks like NCERT or Resnick and Halliday, all these things, you will not be guaranteed a good result in physics Olympiad. You need to have the inherent capability of being able to love physics and at the same time solve problems. Okay, so application skills are required, and knowledge skills that are required are extremely high for physics Olympiad. JEE Advanced and JEE Mains fall somewhere in between. Okay, so most important component that takes the student through, even if he's not having the knowledge at the level of Olympiad, is discipline and attitude towards his or her preparation. So when you have a proper schedule or a plan and understand what is required of a physics student in JEE Mains and Advanced, half the battle is won. Okay, so especially as sir is asking for 30-day preparation, 30 days is a very good amount of time to make a lot of difference and even beat toppers also. Toppers have this inherent arrogance that they actually do very well in physics, and they ignore physics in comparison to maths and chemistry, right? That is where you see, even sir, we have seen a lot of results in our campuses also, where students who do extremely well in Olympiads, they are not guaranteed top results in JEE Advanced or JEE Mains always. Okay, so there are exceptional students who understand that what is required for Olympiad and what is required for Mains and Advanced. There are some students who crack all the three, and we have had quite a few results like that. But we have also seen students who did well there and did not plan properly, and they start coming down. And there are students who don't have great knowledge in physics, but they follow the teacher's plan, or they have their own plan. They have proper guidance of our mentors in our institute, and they start climbing up the ladder in the last 30 days. We have seen that. Okay, so most important thing is to identify what is required and what is the scope of the mains and advanced syllabus, and then start attacking on that particular part. Okay, so first and foremost, I would advise students who are average or above average to identify the last 10 years papers. I'm talking about JEE Advanced. We'll come to mains at the end. So if you are looking at JEE Advanced, last 10 years papers, including
just sufficient.
uh, no. I'm starting off the plan. How to make your plan? Okay, right? So last 10 years papers, yeah, last 10 years papers, you pick them out and start looking at what are the major topics that IIT JEE is attacking. Okay, advanced is attacking. Yeah, there will be a lot of difference. Unlike JEE Mains, if you carefully observe, JEE Advanced each year is conducted by different institute.
Yeah.
Whereas JEE Mains, it is either NTA continuously, so the flavor repeats. Whereas in case of JEE Advanced, IIT
this time IIT Kharagpur is going to conduct. If I am right, IIT Kharagpur is hosting this time.
To some, the major topics are electrostatics, and then you have electromagnetic induction and AC in the second year.
Could you repeat
And then
once again? Could you repeat once again?
So the major topics in second year, if you look at electrostatics and electromagnetic induction and AC, and then you have modern physics, right? Modern physics is a very important topic, and modern physics is a common topic for chemistry and physics also,
Yeah.
right? So some of the topics overlap. So
They will
studying
save
one
time
thing
also.
will help. Yeah. And also in the first year syllabus, you have some very important topic like heat and thermodynamics and
Yeah.
rotational mechanics. Rotational mechanics is another another topic wherein students fear a lot, but IIT JEE actually asks simple applications only in rotational mechanics. They give an innovative question, but it's once the student doesn't have a fear,
Yeah.
has simple base or simple foundation, and attitude is that I'll read the question, don't judge the question at the start before reading it. Read the question properly, and then you start up looking at the options also, you'll start getting ideas. Reading a complete question and 4 options, and if it is a passage, then all the questions, then you start getting the ideas. That kind of luxury is not there in physics Olympiad.
Yeah.
Whereas in JEE Advanced, the examiner tries to lead the student towards the answer through the options. Okay, so that will be that could be explored only if the student has a proper preparation. So as coming to the previous 10 years papers, try to first of all list out your highest weightage topics on one side and your weak areas on one side. For example,
Right. Right.
I am a
That
student,
bifurcation is very, very essential.
yeah, whose I'm a student whose weakest topic is, let's say, surface tension. Surface tension is one of the feared topics by the students, right? Most of the times you don't get sufficient material to prepare for this topic called surface tension. But if you carefully observe and if you're smart, the number of questions that are asked in surface tension are quite low. So it should not come in the top priority of your 30-day preparation plan. Yeah, overall, if the student is looking at a 1-year preparation, yes, you can give importance, but in the 30 days, if you are not so good at surface tension like topic, or you have viscosity, right, all these abstract or obscure topics, you can actually put it at the slight bottom. And when you are looking at a topic like measurement or error analysis, which is an easier topic, and you
That
definitely get one
experimental,
question, right?
experimental physics.
Experimental physics, yeah.
Right.
So try to look at last 10 years experimental physics on one particular day. So you
Okay.
have quite a few books in the market
Mm.
where all these questions are bifurcated topic wise, not question paper year wise.
Yeah.
Look at the book where the questions are bifurcated in topic wise, and start with that topic where you are sure shot going to get marks.
Okay.
Please understand, unlike your board examinations where everyone scores 100 out of 100, right? In JEE Advanced, even the AR1 doesn't score 100 out of 100.
Oh.
Okay, once you score decent amount of marks, let's say above 60% or 70%, even 50%, above 50%, if you're an average student and you want to score somewhere around below 5,000 rank or below 3,000 rank, you don't need to score a 90% or 85%. So that is where a smart and proper preparation is going to help the student. So go back and do the topic wise practice for these heavyweight topics, your weak topics, which you can start from the last 10 years question papers. And let's suppose you are practicing those questions and you start having some trouble in certain concept, then you can go back to your classwork on that topic. You can go back to your teacher or a mentor on that topic and try to get it clarified.
Right.
Until unless those parts are getting clarified, you will not get that confidence that, okay, when I see a new question, because one thing is for sure, JEE last 10 years papers, each and every question topic wise should have been solved, and that should be a plan. Each student can have a different plan. Everyone need not start with rotational mechanics, everyone need not start with electrostatics. They have to make their own plan, keep the 30 days in mind. Day wise they should have a timetable, and each day we are expecting the student to study for 3 hours minimum for physics.
Okay.
And in that 3 hours, maybe you can keep 2 hours for problem practice and 1 hour to consolidate any issues that are coming up during that problem practice in that topic. So for bigger topics, you can allot 2 to 3 days. For smaller obscure topics, like I said, surface tension, which should come at the end of your preparation, you can allot 1 day in advance. That's it.
Okay, sir. Suppose how in writing the examination, actually students are doing mistakes in JEE objective examinations.
Yeah.
How do we avoid that?
Yeah.
How can we
Okay.
recognize, yes, I am in wrong
Yeah.
path, I am not writing properly? How can I get it idea immediately?
Yeah.
How to
Yeah.
rectify that? Yeah.
This is one of the major issues that students nowadays face, especially JEE Advanced is getting more smarter nowadays in
Yeah.
preparing their questions. India is a huge country, and our country loves education. Okay, so whether whether we have a cricketer from a family or not, whether we have a let's say a politician from a family or not, we'll definitely have an engineer or a doctor, or at least an aspiring engineer or a aspiring doctor, right? So huge number of students are appearing for this exam. One thing is for sure, as you said at the start of your conversation, that this is one of the toughest exams, right? I'll start add one more line to it. It is declared as the toughest exam
Wow.
in the world. Okay, if you take the if you take the
Yeah.
toughness quotient of it, and the age of the student who is writing into account. Yeah, some people will say IAS exam is tougher, but it is written by people who are matured, who have 4 attempts, and they are about nearly 30 years of age. These are
Exactly.
kids, right, who are writing 15 years, 16 years, and they have only 2 attempts. And amount of population that we have, the number of students that they write, and number of seats that are allotted, okay, to this particular examination, I think that makes it toughest. Therefore, IIT is not actually conducting a selection examination. It is actually conducting an elimination exam. It
Okay.
is not selecting students. It is basically eliminating students. Okay, so how do you eliminate students in a easy exam? It's an easy exam. You give tricky questions. You give questions in which students who are not having concentration while reading the question and concentration till the end of the solving of the question, they get eliminated, and they provide them with negative marks. Okay, so what is IIT telling us? If you leave the question, you get 0.
Oh,
You know the question,
yeah.
but you solve it wrongly, you get a -2. Okay, that means you are worse than a person who doesn't know the subject. If you are committing a silly mistake,
Yeah.
your score is
Yeah.
worse than
Yeah. Yeah.
a student who doesn't know.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so the preparation students supposed to involve advance. Okay, and in JEE Mains. So how do you practice to reduce negative marks or silly mistakes? Uh, this is a topical question, so I used to answer this differently 3 years or 4 years back, when the paper used to be offline or a paper based examination. Okay, so my answer has changed to this in the current scenario, wherein it is a CBT or computer based test, right? So most of the time students do practice, their institutes practice. Our institute mostly, we all know, conducts almost all the exams in our computer based test model, right? But all students will not have that privilege at their places to actually take up practice exams in computer based model, right? So one suggestion that I do give my students in this current scenario is not to put pen on question paper. This is one of the major important things
Yeah. Yeah.
that we need to understand. So you're not supposed to put pen. Let's say I have a mechanics question, right? Imagine there is a phone or something that is falling onto the ground like this, and we are supposed to apply some torque. Okay, equation. So what is the first thing that students do when they have the question paper in hand is they'll start using the diagram in the question paper as their free body diagram.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, but just consider this: in the final examination, that diagram will be on the screen.
Exactly.
On the screen, you can't draw it on the screen. What do you do in the exam? You have a scribble pad. You actually are supposed to take down that entire diagram and the information on the scribble pad, and then start working on that.
Great.
Okay,
Great.
right, which actually eats away some time in the examination, which you are not practicing at home or at your institute when you are doing offline. So whenever, even at our place, when we give our worksheets or DPPs, one major thing that we tell students nowadays is to not put any pen or any markings on the question paper. Question paper is just for a reference.
So better is practice on imagination skills, improve their
Yeah,
imagination skills.
imagination, and also being able to take keywords and information onto the scribble pad and
Yeah,
start working on it, and
yes,
start writing every step of your solution so that you can avoid the silly mistake. What
right.
is the mistake majorly students do, especially good students who are really serious students, is they practice very well in a different mode during their preparation, and suddenly they go into the exam and they start doing it differently. Then they are looking at the screen, they're
Yes,
not taking things down properly, and that is where you start committing error. Square root of 36, they write it as something else other than, because in their practice they were writing it on the question paper, they were solving it on question paper. This is first thing. Second thing, the complete concentration of being able to read the question till the options are done. And if it is numerical question, complete concentration to read it till the entire question is over. Most of the times the students who take up a lot of coaching, they start imagining what is the question even before completing the reading. That means first line is done. Usually you might have seen, sir, JEE Advanced questions are lengthy, right? They give a lot of information, 6 or 7 lines, compared to JEE Mains where questions are 1 or 2 lines. In JEE Advanced, you have to read those 7 lines patiently. And if it is an option based questions, you have to read 4 options also. Most of these students do not have that patience. They
yes.
start reading 3 or 4 lines,
Mhm.
and they'll start making up their mind that, oh, examiner is supposed to ask this, I'll start calculating. And then suddenly they'll realize what is asked and what is being calculated is
Exactly.
not the same.
Yeah, yeah,
If they realize, they correct it, but they waste time. If they don't realize, they commit the silly mistake. And that is what a student does most of the times. When he comes out of the exam, he will tell you, or he or she will tell you, that I thought he asked this, I
exactly.
thought he said this, I thought it is hollow sphere and not solid sphere. In case you have read it properly, it is solid sphere only. You need to have that patience, that it is a new question, it is a completely new situation that is provided. Your job is to read all the lines and all the 4 options, even though you're feeling happy. Okay, these students actually have that inherent happiness. Okay, after 4 or 5 lines, they start getting familiarity of the question. Their concentration levels drop, and that is where silly mistakes start happening. So having a proper mode of practice, always use scribble pads while you're practicing in last 30 days, and also being able to read the question completely before you start your solution is of utmost importance to reduce silly mistakes.
Actually, this time IIT Kharagpur is conducting the JEE Advanced examination. Am I right? I think in 2006 also it was conducted. Same IIT Kharagpur, they conducted JEE Advanced examination. So by keeping
Okay.
this, by keeping the previous experience into consideration, this time what
Okay.
kind of paper that we may expect in JEE Advanced exam,
Okay.
especially for physics point of view.
Okay. Okay.
Do you have any?
So the thing is, usually, yeah, yeah. So I got your question, sir.
I understood your
Yeah,
actually.
we can say,
IIT Kharagpur is conducting, and in 2006 also
yeah,
IIT Kharagpur was conducted the JEE Advanced IIT JEE examination. Actually, 2006 was the first time they are conducting the examination for I mean 6-hour examination actually.
hmm.
First time they have changed the pattern. Okay, that is the first objective examination, 2006. From 2006 onwards,
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes,
they have changed the
yeah.
model and orientation, etc. But by keeping
Okay.
that experience in your mind, what kind of paper that we may expect, the difficulty level in physics point of view for in a JEE
Okay.
Advanced 2021?
Okay. Thing is, usually when we actually start comparing one question paper of a previous era to the present possibility, a lot of theories do come out on the internet, and people like speculating because we as teachers want to give best possible tips to the student, right? My experience, it's my opinion, right? What after talking to a lot of my physics mentors in IIT that I have studied from, and also different students, or some of my friends are physics professors in the current IITs.
Right?
So there is no pattern. There is no pattern as such where we could say, okay, if, an ex-IIT has conducted 2015 paper, and the same IIT, let's suppose, is conducting the exam paper 5 years later. They have a rotation policy, so less than 5 years, you don't have again the same IIT conducting it. First and foremost, the physics department or whoever is entrusted this particular job in IITs rotating them. So you need not have the same type of paper or a similar flavor or a similar for 5 years. So we should expect it for paper when it comes to physics. Especially, again, I say toughness is a relative term. It depends on the application skills of the student, how well he can apply in physics, especially because syllabus is known, right? You read a question, you know what is required or which chapter it is, but you don't get and understand the, if it is mechanics, what is the free body diagram, and if it is, let's say, electrostatics or electromagnetism, which concept is applicable, what is he talking about, right? You need to decode that in the first reading. That is the tough part. Okay, so and I have a very strong gut feeling that whenever JEE examination gets postponed, right? Like last year we saw, unfortunately, it got postponed till September,
Yeah, yeah.
right? A lot of yeah, a lot of students had this feeling, or they were praying that the paper is supposed to be coming out to be easy because they are
Oh,
going through hard time, and IIT is going to help them. No, IIT looks at it in a different way. IIT looks at it this way: instead of conducting the exam in May, we are giving time till, let's say,
actually,
June or
they are
July.
providing the student.
More, yeah, more coaching time, more time for preparation. So they, and we all know, I think some quarters even think that 2020 physics paper JEE Advanced was the toughest in recent times, and
Okay.
it was true to some extent. Um, so we should be very cautious, right? So in comparing the previous years to the present, I would expect the paper to be a good paper, a paper where
Exactly.
students will be tested on application skills of how much they understood the concept.
Actually, you are the topper in 2002, if I'm right,
Yeah.
and you secured, I think, 242 all India rank in open category.
Yeah.
So at that time, before going to the examination, what kind of what is called precautions that you are taking, you have taken, and you are going to give information to our present students with your experience? Could you share that?
Okay. Okay. Right. I think the most things on that particular day, right, and the day before is a very important day. We expect the student to have a good proper OIs doing. They are expected to stop it quite early the day before, have a proper sleep, take decent food, the food which is not oily and all that, so that your health is not going to get affected. And on the day of the examination, you're supposed to be free of all negative thoughts, right? And it's quite common to have tension. So I can't say don't be tensed, I can't say don't be anxious. It is common to be tense or anxious, right? It's one of the most important days in students career. They know that they know that, okay? And 20 years later I knew it. Nowadays the students are more smarter, they are exposed to outer world
Yes.
much more than we were in our childhood, right? So we should not give them false hope and tell them that you can't be tensed, don't be tensed and all that. Yes, be tensed, be anxious and enjoy that moment. It's like a thrill, right? So you are on a big giant wheel and giant wheel is coming down, right? So it's a thrill, right? You don't die
Yeah.
when you go onto a giant wheel. So you're not going to die on that day, that's for sure. And if everything goes well and in a thrilling way, you'll have a great story to tell later generations, right? So like I tell my story to a lot of my students, like this happened that day, this is you. So just enjoy that day. Whatever preparation that you have done, it has ended the previous day. So anxiousness, even if it is there, just keep feeling it and keep enjoying it. It is natural, it's human, right? So and you won't get that kind of basic things to enjoy on that particular day.
Yeah.
Okay, and very important in JEE Advanced case, paper 1 to paper 2, you have 2 hours gap. Okay, which is quite weird for an examination, right? Exam gets over, gets a gap, and again, no other exam in the world I don't think I have seen wherein you give a gap to the student, ask him to again run. Okay, right? So, and
Maintaining
that too in
that
hot
6 hours,
summer, right?
maintaining that 6 hours of
Uh,
patency is very, very important actually. That play very good role for achieving the better rank, I think. Actually, majority of the students, they are not continuing their patience levels till end.
yeah.
After first phase examination, majority of the students, they got exhausted and they are
Yes.
neglecting the second phase examination. That's the major
Yes.
problem.
Yes. Yes. So the main important thing that students need to take care of during this 1 or 2 hours is to not have any discussion with their friends or people, neighbors, and all these. Right. So when paper one is done, whether you have done well or not done well, nothing would be clear on that day. Right.
Yeah,
So you will not have solutions to be able to discuss with anyone, and also your success or failure in that examination is sum total of paper 1 plus paper 2.
yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
so there's no qualification criteria in paper 1 separately and paper 2. So whether you have done well or not done well, it won't matter. Your paper 2 is still going to decide how you're going to get into the examination. And as you said, a lot of students do badly in paper 2 as compared to paper 1. So it's mainly because their concentration levels and their what we should say, their energy levels will start coming down
That's
on
because
summer.
after completion of the first phase examination only, they are exhausted with all the things. Other two,
Yeah. So
is we have,
yeah, in the
atmosphere also not cooperating to them. And that in
yeah,
hot
yeah.
summer,
So
they need to write
uh,
examination. All that precautions they need to take care.
mhm. So one suggestion that I would like to give the students is in the build up to the examination for the last 15 to 20 days, 9 to 12 and 2 to 5. So I don't remember the exact time slots of this
Same,
paper
same,
1 and paper
same.
2. I think it is, yeah, 9 to 12 and 2 to 5. Try to keep these slots for problem solving and application
Yeah,
type of. You can't write mock tests every day, but in all the other days, 9 to 12 and 2 to 5, try to solve problems.
yeah,
Don't try to sleep during 2 to 5 in the afternoon.
exactly.
Okay, so the body timetable and all these things are very important when you go into the final day. So for the last 20 days, have proper sleep schedules, have proper food, and have proper application part practice schedules. Like 9 to 12, I'll practice problems. 2 to 5, I'll try to solve problems. I'll not sleep in the afternoons. So these things will start helping them on that final day, especially during paper 2.
Thank you, Janathan sir. Thank you
Yeah,
for your valuable suggestions. Hope
thank
my
you.
friends you understand it well. And because he is the most experienced faculty from Sri Chaitanya, and with his able guidance, he guided you properly. Better use the tips and apply and implement them immediately, because the coming every month is very, very important in your regular preparation. So on April, we are going to write the third phase mains examination, and again on May, we are fighting with the final phase mains examination. After that, hardly you have 1 month solid time in your hand. Utilize those tips and strengthen your subject, especially in physics. Thereby, hope you should get very good marks and all India good ranks. We are and wish you all the best from Sri Chaitanya to all our students, not only for Sri Chaitanya, for all students, those who are writing the JEE Advanced examination. Wish you all the best. Thank you.